whatever happened to anyone in the early years from 0 to 7 can determine a person's future. A child is not born with low self-esteem. A child is not born with anger, depression. It's what happened in those early years. You know? I travel from BC to Quebec. I go to communities. I try and have 4 trainings per year. And what I do is, because we're all facing the same statistics of, we're facing the high child welfare rates, the prison rates were very high in, our people are so many diseases that we never had before. And our emotions are connected, to our well-being. And until we deal with the emotional part, that it's healing needs to happen so much, in our First Nations. This child has a direct connection to the Creator. A child is in a spiritual state from 0 to 7 years old. So the work I do is traditional parenting, which focuses on the bonding of children. 0 to 7 are the most crucial years of a child's life. And you can mold and shape a child in those early years. And it was done through those tools of the moss bag, the Mihkowapikwaniy, the cradle board, or even swaddling if they don't have those. But those were for a reason. I used 2 of them. I didn't know the reasons why. And what I found out was from the elders was that Mihkowapikwaniy, the swing, is like that swinging motion like this is the same motion as when we were inside our mother's womb. That created a chemical and also for immunity, a chemical for immunity and also for balance. Children that are raised in those tools, you'll see them that they're so very, it's like they have a knowing of respect. They have a knowing for obedience, good listening skills. And so the work I do is that until we go back to parenting like that, like a long time ago, like our ancestors, that's when change will begin to happen in our First Nations. The Western world teachings, they don't fit for us. None of that really fits for us. No change has happened until we embrace like who we are, embrace like our teachings, our culture, our language. Our language is key to our well-being. Traditionally, the fathers had a huge role. You hear that term sometimes where the man walks 10 paces in front, and it's almost like derogatory today. It was true. But the reason why his family, his wife, his children walked 10 paces back was he had to go ahead to ensure that it was safe, it was clear. And they would have what they would call like camps like this 4 times a year for young people. And they would have big lodges set up, and it was what you would say today the education conferences that we have. And that's what they were like in our traditional family systems. And they would, again, word for word oral teachings from generation to generation. A cultural camp such as this, a storytelling camp, is because you're teaching a child holistically. The school system is designed just for mental. It doesn't really mean anything. It's not going to touch your heart. It's not going to make you make change or whatever. But when you teach a child holistically, such as here, you're using those 4 aspects, that's when change will happen. I was just telling a friend today about how making those skirts, that's a teaching. The bead work, we never always had beads in our traditional family systems, but it's a source of pride, for those young people. We have a lot of adults doing the crafts because they never had that opportunity, to do. So the role of the storyteller was mainly the role of the fathers. Fatherhood is sacred. And his main role was that in the evenings, in a camp setting such as this, that was when that they would teach the young people the oral stories, word for word doctrines, and the history of the tribe, or also like creation stories. It was a gift. It was a gift for a lot of the fathers that were given this, and that it was a way to to the transmission of teachings from one generation to the next. And it's a role that really needs to come back. We need that fatherhood to come back together with, the nurturing of children, because traditionally the fathers had a huge role.